Now let us discuss parallel AC circuit. So here we have a capacitor, a resistor and an inductor. All three are connected in parallel. Now you just need to remember this. Previously when we were talking about the series LCR circuit, in that what used to happen is the current would be flowing through all would be same, right? Or in the same phase, while voltage through them would be different. But here the current, once the total current passes, the current will split. Okay, so the IR is the current which is going in the resistance, IL is the current which is going in the inductor, and IC is the current which is going in the capacitor. Here all three currents will be in different phases, and here the voltage, the potential difference, they are all connected across the same potential source, right? So this AC voltage source, the potential across all three of them is same, and the current is in different phases. So while making the phasor diagram, you just need to remember that previously when we were taking current to be on x-axis, now you take the voltage to be on x-axis and keep that as fixed. Okay, so that's the first thing which you need to consider. Next is what IR. So we can say if the total voltage across it is, let's say peak voltage is V0, then current is, peak current in this is nothing but V0 by R, right? So 1 by R is nothing but, this R is resistance, so 1 by R is conductance, that's capital G, right? So V0 into G. Similarly IL is nothing but V0 by XL. XL is inductive reactance. Okay, so 1 by XL is nothing but SL or susceptance. So this is inductive susceptance. And now last is IC. The current in the capacitor is V0 by XC, and 1 by XC is nothing but SC, which is capacitive susceptance. So let us derive an expression for the current and the phase difference. So what I am going to do is, I am writing the same expression, but this time I will be writing it for current. So I will be saying that total current in the circuit is nothing but IR plus IC minus IL whole square, and this also square and this also square. How I am getting this? This expression is coming from the phasor diagram. So while drawing this phasor diagram, make sure that on the x-axis I am keeping my voltage. Voltage is fixed now, and that you can keep as V0 or Vm. So that's the voltage over here. And now on y-axis, see, we know that current and voltage are in same phase for a resistor. So the IR is on the same axis over here. This pink one represents the IR. Okay, the current in the resistor, and now current in the capacitor is leading. Okay, or we say voltage in a capacitor lags. So voltage lags means current leads. So if current is leading, then current has to be there at an angle of 90 degree, positive 90. So that's current in the capacitor IC, and similarly current in the inductor will lag, and eventually current in the inductor is lagging by 90 degree over here, and it is here. So I just need to add all these three currents vector wise, but we can't call it vector wise. It is the phasor addition. So just do the phasor addition of all three. For that I am saying that overall will be something like this, where this is how much? This is nothing but, this is my IC minus IL. So IR square plus IC minus IL square, whole thing square gives me net I square, right? And this is my angle phi. And we will be saying that here the current is leading or voltage is lagging, okay, by an angle phi. So let us just find. So first I, what is I square? I square is nothing but V square by Z square. So I is total current, net current is V by Z, right? So V is the net voltage, or I am just writing V0. And the voltage across all three of them is same. So V0 square by Z square is equal to IR square. What is IR? It is basically V by R, and peak voltage V0 square by R square. And what is my IC? IC is basically V0 by XC. So it is V0 by XC minus V0 by XL whole square. If you want, you can interchange these two as well, right? For angle, you need to be careful. Well, you are saying that current is ahead, then it has to be IC minus IL. if we are making our phasor diagram over here and we are saying current is lagging, then basically it has to be IL minus IC. So make sure whatever you are using has to be like the phi has to be, your final statement for phi has to be according to that. And this V naught square, this V naught square, and this V naught I'll take common, it will come out of the bracket. So this is also V naught square. We can cancel out, that is the common voltage which is applied across all three of them. And now this gives me 1 by Z square is equal to 1 by R square plus 1 by XC minus 1 by XL whole square. Now this is 1 by Z equals to 1 by R square plus 1 by XC minus 1 by XL whole square and then root. What is 1 by Z? 1 upon reciprocal of the impedance is admittance. And so admittance Y is nothing but root over, what is 1 by R square? It is G square, conductance square, plus, what is this? This is SC minus SL whole square, susceptance, the net susceptance, right? So the admittance is given by this expression, which is very similar to the impedance. Impedance is resistance square plus XL minus XC whole square. Here admittance is that, and this expression is just the reciprocal of that. And this expression is generally utilized when we are dealing with parallel AC circuits. When all the things are in parallel, then we have to use this expression as a result answer. And what we'll be writing? We'll be writing that my net current, we know that V is equal to I into Z, right? This is the expression, but here I'll be saying that IM, voltage was already given, is V naught Vm by Z, and rather than 1 by Z, I'll be saying it is Vm into Y. So this is how I can find the peak value of the current. What about the phase difference? So for phase difference, again, let's come back to this diagram. So I'll be saying that current is leading by an angle phi. And how do I tell phi? For that I'm saying tan phi is opposite by this. So this is IC minus IL by IR. And that is what, again, we need to write in terms of V, because V is the one which is common. So this is V naught by XC minus V naught by, this is L, XL upon V naught by R. V naught can be cancelled out. 1 by XC is how much? 1 by XC is nothing but SC minus 1 by XL is nothing but SL by, this is nothing but G. So I'll be saying phi is nothing but tan inverse of SC minus SL by G. And here we are saying that current is the one which is leading, okay, the voltage. So from here I'll be saying if my V is nothing but Vm sine omega t, let's say it is given, then the current is nothing but Im sine omega t plus phi. Current is the one which is leading. And what is our Im? Im is nothing but Vm into Y. Y is the admittance. The formula for Y, we have already discussed. Formula for Y is under root G square plus SC minus SL whole square. And what about the phi? Phi is nothing but tan inverse of SC minus SL by R. So this is how, once the voltage is given to us, we can get an expression for the current for a parallel AC circuit. Now let us just revisit all the things in one go. So we'll be saying that here the phasor diagram we wrote about, make about the current, and eventually the phi is tan inverse of SC minus SL by R. If we talk about the admittance, then we got the expression to be this, Y is equal to G square plus SL minus SC whole square. Here they have used SL minus SC. You can use SC minus SL as well. It will be only phi which will differ, right? If we are changing their order, then phi will become kind of negative phi, or we'll say current rather than leading, it will lag. Now next is LC oscillation. So what is LC oscillation? So the electric current and the charge on the capacitor in the circuit undergo electrical LC oscillations when a charge capacitor is connected to an inductor. So what will happen if you connect an inductor to a charge capacitor? Okay, so the capacitor will slowly discharge and eventually there will be current in the inductor. So they go under oscillations. Okay, so here we are going to derive an expression. Let's say this capacitor was charged and it was having plus Q naught charge over here, or maximum amount of charge, and minus Q naught charge on this plate, and the switch was open and now we are closing it. As soon as we close it, there is a current, and current is how much? Current is minus dq by dt. Generally the value of current is written as dq by dt, but here the charge on the capacitor is decreasing. So we are saying our current is minus dq by dt. And when I want to write an expression, like let us apply Kirchhoff loop law. So I'll be saying minus, let us say charge at any time on this capacitor is Q, minus Q plus Q. So I'm moving from here to here. So I'm jumping. So it will be Q by C. Q by C. Then here I am going in the direction of current. So minus L di by dt. And that must be 0. And if you see this expression is what? Q by C minus L. What is dl by di by dt? It is d by dt of I, and I itself is minus dq by dt. And that thing is 0. So this thing gives me minus minus plus d2q by dt square is equal to Q by C. This will be going other way around and will become positive, and L is also going there. So this. Now let us just focus on this expression. D2Q by dt square is equal to Q by LC. Remember, this expression is similar to, very similar to another expression. This will be negative over here, because when this Q by C goes other way around, we get minus Q by LC. And now I am just writing it minus 1 by LC times Q. This is a second order differential equation which represents the simple harmonic motion. We have already discussed such type of equation. Let us just compare it. Okay, so I am directly comparing it with SHM and getting all the expression. This is just the expression which we wrote. D2Q by dt square is equal to minus 1 by LC into Q. Now let's go back to SHM, where this was the fundamental differential equation of the SHM. So it was d2x by dt square is equal to minus omega square x. When you compare this was x, which was basically doing the oscillation. The position of the particle that performs the SHM, or simple harmonic motion, and here the charge is going to perform the SHM. And what about this omega square? We can say omega square is nothing but 1 by LC. From that we can say that omega is nothing but 1 root of that, so which is this. And isn't this familiar expression? This expression is the resonant frequency, right? So if a series LCR circuit, this is the resonant frequency, so, or natural frequency. So if we connect a capacitor to an inductor, then the charge performs oscillation. And when charge performs oscillation, so how the equations will look like? Here the x is x naught sine omega t. This is the result, right? Final result. Here we'll say that charge is nothing but q naught sine omega t. In this particular case, if someone is saying that charge is maximum when the time is 0 on the capacitor, okay, this is charge at any time on the capacitor, then you have to use q naught cos omega t. So that at t is equal to 0, you can get maximum charge q naught on the capacitor. But here we are not going into that. We are just saying that charge will perform oscillation. Okay, so how the oscillation will be performed? Charge will perform oscillation at the same time. Here the velocity, the expression for velocity was also an oscillation. Here the current is nothing but minus dq by dt. Here I am putting a minus because dq, the change in charge, is negative. Charge on the capacitor is decreasing with time. So if we are saying that this is cos, then the differentiation will become positive sign. So here I have used the differentiation as per this equation, which says that charge is 0 initially on the capacitor. Okay, if charge is maximum, then it will be plus pi by 2 we can write, or we can say it is cos omega t, that expression. So here the position and velocity, they perform, or they shows the sine and cosine graph, while here the charge and the current in this expression, like in LC circuit where a charge capacitor is connected, there the charge and the current, they both shows the oscillation. the expression for potential energy here was half m omega square x square, right? And maximum was here when we use that x as x naught or the amplitude of SHM. Here the electrical energy which is stored in the capacitor. Okay, so electrical energy which is stored in the capacitor is given by q square by 2c, and here q is varying. So like here the potential energy varies, in similar manner the electrical energy of the capacitor varies here. And if we talk about the kinetic energy, that's half mv square, that varies with velocity. Similarly here magnetic field energy, the energy which is stored in this inductor varies with time, and that is half Li square, right? So this is the variation of energy. Here the kinetic and potential energy continuously exchange with each other, right? We remember the graph also, like this type of graph was there. So this is one graph and this is another graph. So this is my kinetic energy, the dotted one, and this is my potential energy, and this is total energy versus the x graph. Similarly here the kinetic and potential energy were exchanged continuously. In similar manner here the electrical energy is stored in the capacitor and magnetic field energy is stored in the inductor continuously exchanged with each other. Now this is a typical diagram. Initially the entire energy was in the form of electrical field energy, right, between the capacitors. Now as this charges becomes zero, or let's say lesser, okay, so eventually these charges are going like this from the positive plate. So capacitor is getting discharged here. Capacitor is getting discharged, as you can see, as it is slightly discharged, the charges are left lesser and it is completely discharged in this diagram, right? So here capacitor is continuously discharging. At the same time, here the current is flowing, and this is a varying current. This is a current, not a constant one. So here due to change in flux, in the inductor magnetic field energy half Li square is being created, and when this electrical energy vanishes completely, the charge vanishes on the capacitor completely, capacitor is completely discharged. At that particular time we say that there is maximum magnetic field energy stored in the inductor. Now what will happen? Due to this magnetic field energy, the charge will continue to move on, and eventually this was positive, this was negative, now it was 0 and it was 0. Due to continuous move, this will become positive and this will become negative. So this magnetic field energy again start decreasing, and eventually the electrical field energy is maximum. But if you see that position of the charges, they have been exchanged, right? It was the upper plate was positive, now the lower plate is positive. Now continue again. When that happens, the entire magnetic field energy gets converted into electrical field energy, and now again same process will repeat, but it will be just other way around. Charges will start flowing like that, and when it will be maximum magnetic field energy, the capacitor will get completely discharged. And since magnetic field energy is there, now due to this magnetic field conversion again in the electrical field energy, the capacitor will again get charged and will come back to the original situation in which capacitor was there, and this oscillation will keep happening. This energy exchange will keep happening for for all the time. But practically, if we say that charges oscillate with a natural frequency, and natural frequency is what? The resonant frequency 1 by root over LC. And here practically this type of LC oscillation is never possible, and reason is very, very simple. We know that there is always going to be some loss in the resistance, right? Here we assume that only inductor and capacitor is there, but practically when we are connecting an inductor, it also consists some of the resistance or resistance of the wire connecting cords. So since some of the energy loss happens there, so that's why the oscillation, the continuous oscillation for infinite time is not possible. It is oscillation which are damped, and eventually due to that there is a energy loss in the form of heat in the resistor, and eventually the oscillation stops, or the entire energy, electrical energy and magnetic field energy, the entire energy goes in the form of heat from out of the system.